What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Most Valuable Podcast. I am Mark Williams with my colleague
Victor Castro.
and we're just two dudes who do real estate for a living. And today, we're going to talk about something that, as a California native, as Californians, has been a increasing topic probably since, I would say, pre-COVID, pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And like the pandemic, it really became evident, right? Is California worth it? And what we mean by that is it worth paying such a premium to live in this state compared to the other 49 states? I mean, there are some states like New York, but here's the thing. Certain parts of New York are expensive, right? But California as a whole, in general, is just the most expensive place to live in America. Hands down, right? So, is it worth it? And for those that are thinking about buying a home, you're probably feeling that pain right now. You're probably having these conversations with your significant other like, damn, it costs how much? Is it worth it? So we're going to kind of dive into that today. You know, the pros and cons, our own opinions, and, you know, you make the decision for yourself. But just remember, whatever that decision is, we can help you out.
Yep.
So you want to purchase in California? Yours truly can help you out personally. You want to purchase, you're thinking about leaving California? Hey, we have a team of agents that work in all 50 states and 4 of the provinces in Canada that have the same work ethic that we do, and we partner up them. We can help you out in that respect as well. So any questions, always feel free to DM us. Make sure you're following us on IG at the MVP Real Estate. You can follow us on Facebook, same thing. Yeah, let's dive into it, Victor. So I know we're kind of talking about this topic. You were having a conversation with a friend before we hopped on here, and why don't you talk a little bit about that and, you know, what are some of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. Look, California, geographically,
Geographically. There you go.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
We got the mountains, only, maybe 2 hours to the east. We got the beaches.
Yeah, you can go from the beach to the snow in 3 hours.
Yeah. Or vice versa. So,
yeah, vice versa.
And anything in between, like we have it all. You know, lakes, national parks, everything. Like everything is here that you would want. And it's just so sad that it's been ran down to the ground thanks to policies that, you know, you might agree with, you might not agree with. I personally don't agree with. I've been here all my life and pretty much for the most part. And it's sad, bro, that we get to see what's going on. And we're questioning ourselves too. We're not going to lie. I've questioned myself. Hey, is it worth it to live here?
Yeah. I mean, cause you think about it, what we pay, right? Like it's yes, the weather. I mean, it's beautiful today. It's supposed to be where our office is in Concord. It's supposed to be 85. Like you see, we're wearing polo shirts today, but we both got shorts on, right? And you get a nice coastal breeze. It doesn't get too hot. And even when it does, like you said, we can escape. Like we have, especially being in the Bay Area, we have what's called microclimates. So we're here in the East Contra Costa County, which is, with no traffic, 45 minutes to downtown San Francisco.
Or less.
Or less, right? Yeah, or less. So say 40 minutes to downtown San Francisco. It could be 85 here and sunny, and we can drive less than 40 minutes, and it will be 70 degrees with the breeze, right? There's been instances where I'm at my house, which is, 20 miles east of where our office is, and it's 95 at my house. And when my brother lived in, speaking of people moving out the state, I have family. 2 of my siblings live in a different state. But when my brother lived in a city called Pacifica, it'll be 95 at my house. I drive 50 minutes to his house for a party on a Saturday, and it's 55 degrees. It's like a 40-degree change because he was right on the coast. and you would get the coastal fog, and by 2 o'clock you didn't see the sun, and we would always make sure to dress appropriately. I would have to pull up the weather there because I'm at home in shorts chilling, and they're over there bundled up in winter clothes, right? So it's cool. You like you said, it's so diverse, not just with the weather, but like culturally as well, right?
Yeah, that too. It's very diverse. You got everyone here from all over the world. You got Middle Eastern, you got Asian, you got African, you got everything.
We could walk 2 minutes outside of our office, and there's a taqueria, there's a new Italian
Mediterranean,
Indian, Korean, American, like within all next to each other. Which is cool because like that part of it, I think it's worth it. As far as like what's one of the positives of living in California is just the different cultures that you experience, like living here and growing up here. Like I go to parties. We go to people's parties, and say I go to my friend's house that's Filipino, and they're having a party and they're making all this food, and the parents are asking me, "Do you eat this?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like grew up on this stuff. It's like we're not afraid to like eat other stuff and try different cultures, which is cool. Where maybe someone from, I don't know, I'm not trying to talk bad about anyone, but maybe someone from like a Kansas that maybe is not as culturally diverse.
They're so used to just their ways.
Yeah,
it's hard to get them out of the.
They might have 3 options, right? Like I have family in Arkansas, and I remember in high school, my cousin came to hang out for like a week. Never been to California, so he came out, did the tourist thing, and I took him to like Chinatown, and we're going to different places, and I'm introducing them to my friends. We're like the same age, and he thought everyone was like Chinese that was Asian, and I had to explain to him like, no, they're Korean, Japanese, Filipino, Vietnamese,
Indonesian.
There's more than just Chinese, bro.
Same with Latino. Everyone calls a Latino person, and for the most part, oh, he's Mexican. No, but you also got Salvadorian, Nicaraguense, Guatemalteco, Colombian, Ecuadorian, everything. So,
Well, so that's definitely a positive.
Yes.
Is it worth living in California for that reason? I would say yes, because you get to experience all these cultures. It's cool too because these cultures have like, they're proud of their culture, and they'll have events, and you could be anyone's invited, and you can kind of experience and without having to go to that country per se, right?
For the most part, everyone gets along, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Everyone gets along. So look, those are 2 great things that we've covered already that are great about California. Weather, different sightseeing, and nature and the weather. Actually, 3 things, right? And then also the diversity of culture. So there's just so much positive to California as well. It's not all negative, okay? But
it's not all negative in the sense of, I would say on the experience side, like just like if you didn't look at things through like the lenses, it was a lot more enjoyable. Let me put it this way: it was a lot more enjoyable when I was younger, when I didn't have to deal with taxes and politics, and you kind of have kid goggles on. Right?
Right.
You're not worried about all this adult stuff going on.
But you know what, Mark? That's how it is anywhere you live. I mean, you grow up into adulthood, and now you have to worry about your rent, your mortgage, whatever.
And I get that, but now it's like, but then seeing, and that's a common thing. Look, I'm not saying that, because I have more bills now. I'm just saying like, now that like our hard-earned money, we see where our hard-earned money is going towards, like, why? Like, where's his money going?
Why is California the most taxed state in the whole country?
Yeah.
Why does it have the highest unemployment rate in the country? Why is it the highest
homeless rate? One third. So that's 30. So out of 100%, 33.333% of the homeless in America are in California.
It's almost
so you take 49 states, and that's 2/3, and one state is 1/3. So what? Just picture like you got to put things in perspective. There's me and Victor here, and you listening to us. and we go buy and we buy a pizza, me and Victor are going to share our portion with 47 other people, but you're stuck eating that 1/3 of the pie. Like, it's crazy. And there's reason why. There's a good reason why that 1/3 of the homeless population is here. And people think it's, because it's so expensive here, that's why everyone's homeless. No. The homeless come here. Yes, and granted, I'm sure there is some truth behind that the cost of living has maybe put some people in situations of homelessness. And I'm all for helping people out. But then again, we also have homeless that come from other states that come to California because they know they're going to get paid. They know that they're going to get a check to be homeless.
Yeah. No, I mean,
California has made homelessness a business.
it is. Yeah.
It's 100% a business. 100%. If you can't see that, then that's non-political. California has made homelessness a business. People get on tough times. Addiction and mental health is a crazy thing. I am not making any light or shedding any negative towards that. Like, those people need help. There's a lot of people that need help. I'm cool with my tax dollars going there to help provide services for people to get better, not to enable them to stay in their current situation. But that's what it is.
For God's sakes, look, they're getting free needles. They're getting everything they need to stay hooked on the drugs, for the most part.
To stay homeless.
And that is attributed to homelessness, like you said. 40 million people live in California.
Yeah. There's
close to 40 million.
And there's 400 million people in the United States. So that's 10%? 10% of the population in one state? It's a lot of people, bro.
How does California, now the fourth biggest economy in the world, when
quote unquote,
how does it turn out of nowhere into the fourth biggest economy? And you're so proud of it, but you have a $12 billion deficit.
See, that's another thing too. So, now we're kind of getting into the negatives. Negatives. Homelessness is a big problem in California. It's definitely a negative. Like I said, not making light of someone's situation. I'm all about helping people out, getting better. I'm not about enabling people to stay in a bad situation, right? Also, you can't force people to do stuff they don't want to do. So there's always going to be, as someone that was born in San Francisco and grew up in that area, I'm used to it in a sense where I'm used to seeing homeless people. They don't I just walk by and I'm used to it. I'm used to the panhandling. I'm used to it. But now when I go there, it's just so shocking how it has increased. It's not just San Francisco. I lived in San Diego for a little bit, and 2 years ago we had that conference, and we're walking through the gas lamp area and I'm like, oh yeah, this is my old neighborhood. I used to live right here. I used to walk to the gas lamp, and yeah, you would have panhandlers and a couple homeless people here and there, and that's just that's just major cities, right? And now it was the whole streets were lined with tents, and it was crazy. It looked like a different city. And don't get me started about Oakland. That city looks like apocalypse.
I don't know.
It's a shame, dude. It's such a beautiful city, location-wise, weather, all that, the different neighborhoods. We do real estate. We see all the different neighborhoods, and Oakland was always known as a blue-collar town. They were San Francisco was the white-collar. Oakland was the blue-collar. It was the working family. People took pride in that city, and they still do. But just based on what you mentioned before, all this political nonsense, and we're not here to get political, and if you're red or blue or whatever, green, yellow side, we don't care. We're just saying from someone looking in that's never been. I mean, we had that one guy. This is how crazy it is. There's that one guy on TikTok, the food guy, Keith Lee. So it's a famous food critic guy, okay? He came to do the Bay Area. He left. He left after one day because he couldn't comprehend how crazy it was in Oakland. Just the crime and the
level of homelessness.
Yes, and just the lawlessness that was going on.
Yeah.
Where he felt unsafe for him and his crew, and they left. And then people were getting mad at him for leaving. I mean, I don't blame him. Like, I don't blame him. I tend to like stay away from certain areas myself now. Like, I don't want like, I'm here to help everybody, but there's some areas where I personally don't feel safe like doing business in. This is what it is, and it's a shame.
We got to keep it real, right? We've helped people buy in Oakland before.
Yeah,
I've helped people buy in Oakland, but it's a fine line that we can't cross as agents. But at the same time, how political can we be, or how professional can we remain when what we see is different than what other cities offer?
Yeah, 100%. And I get what you're saying. That look, to your point, it's called redlining. We don't redline. Like, you want to buy in this, we're helping you out. You want to buy in this, and we're in an agreement. We have an agreement with you to help you out. Hey, we're going to show you, and we're going to show you what's available and stuff like that. I guess the point I'm making is, I may be double parking in front of that house and keeping an eye on my car because I don't want to get broken into.
It's just keeping it.
It's up to you. It's up to you to pull up the statistics and check everything. But I'll show you the home. We'll go look at it. But it's just a shame that we got to that point where, people ask us that. We have clients ask us, and unfortunately, we're not allowed to
steer them away.
Steer you away. Like, we can advise you. Hey, go pull it up. I would go to that neighborhood different times of the week. Go check it out. You want to go talk to the local police station about it. You want to go pull up statistics online. We can steer you that way to check things out. But at the end of the day, like, it's up to you to make that final decision. I'm just here. I'll tell you about the condition of the home and, what's going on and stuff like that. But so that's a big thing right now in California. That's a negative is it's so expensive, but yet, like, I would call it the mismanagement.
Capital.
The mismanagement of resources leading to we can call it. It's an epidemic when it comes to homelessness. And the crazy part is
rent control and all that also is another thing.
Let's talk about that. So rent control, good and bad, I would say. Definitely good and bad because, look, if you're renting a spot and it costs you $2,500 to rent, and you've been there 2 years, and now your landlord wants to raise your rent. Fair enough, they own the building, right? But now they're going to charge you $5,000. I can see it from that perspective. Like, dude, like, what's changed? That's almost forcing that person to have to leave. You know what I'm saying? But it gets extreme out here. Depending on the city, right? City specific.
San Francisco and Oakland.
San Francisco and Alameda County is super extreme, where the renters essentially have more rights than the homeowner. Which, when you're a renter, you look at it in a different perspective. And when you're a homeowner, you look at it in a different perspective.
Yeah.
I can see both sides. However, as a homeowner, the side I lean to is, if I own something, I shouldn't be told by somebody else how I should own that thing.
Or what to do with
my property that I own.
Or if I have to be forced to keep a tenant in place if they're not being responsible.
Oh, they'll thrash the house and they still get to stay.
And that's my point. Like, why should the owner suffer the consequences of someone that isn't responsible, paying the rent, thrashing your house, and then you're stuck with the bill after that when he does get kicked out, if he does get kicked out? That is insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Well, that's why they say if you're looking to invest in properties, although the reward, I mean, that almost puts that whole thing like high risk, high reward, right? Because obviously rents here were going to be a lot higher than in other states. But, there is some benefit to being a landlord in a renter-friendly state, right? Like I have a rental in Texas, and you don't pay your rent in 3 days, I'm kicking you out type of deal, right? Like no questions.
And no one's gonna come to you and say, "Oh, why'd you kick him out?"
Yeah, a good buddy of mine has a rental, and I didn't know this, and he has a rental in the state of Arkansas. In the state of Arkansas, it's actually a felony if you don't pay your rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, might have to go buy a property in Arkansas. And look, we're not saying that we want to go kick people out in 3 days, but as someone that owns the property, and you got to think that's the one thing I would say. I know we're kind of going on a tangent, but once you own property and you buy property in the sense of investment, like to rent it out for that property to grow equity, it is now a business. And you have to treat it like a business. And if someone's telling you how to operate your business to the point where you're running negative, you're not going to be in business much longer. Right? Cool. All right. So that's some negative stuff about California. Energy.
Gas.
Not just gasoline, just energy in general. We pay the highest in energy prices in the country. Gas, electricity, gasoline. The crazy part is they make the gasoline here. We can see I'm looking right now at the refinery. Like it's in view of us. Why are we paying right now mid-5, right? $5-something, $5.50 in gas.
Yeah.
Per gallon, where, excuse me, if you're like in Texas right now, it's like $3.20.
I saw 280, 285 this morning. I don't know where the picture was, but people compare our gas prices all the time, and it's like California actually might jump all the way up to $8. It's projected if those two refineries, one in Benicia, Valero, which closed, was forced to close. We don't know why. Or I don't know.
Well, the Benicia one might restructure, meaning they might. So one of these refineries did this a couple years back. They stopped making gasoline, and they start making like the bioenergy, like biodiesel.
Okay, and then one in LA, Chevron, also closed. And we already have high gas prices. What's going to happen when there's not enough gas to be sourced, and we have to bring in gasoline from elsewhere, maybe across seas and stuff like that? They're projected to be up to $8. What's going to happen then by 2026?
The crazy part is we already pay like some of the highest sales tax. We pay some of the highest vehicle registration. And this is all in, we're a big state. We have a lot of roads and stuff like that. But I think we were ranked, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw national ranking. We had the 47th worst roads in America.
You're right, 47th.
And look, it doesn't snow that much here. It doesn't rain that much. We shouldn't have craters for potholes like in the East Coast and stuff. We're not putting salt on the road. Like, we should have some for as much as it costs. Not only that, we also pay the most for insurance, car, home, all that. But yet, nothing works. It's crazy. So, to your point, kind of tying this back in, this is what gets you questioning, is it worth it? Is all of what we pay worth it? And kind of the opposite of that is, okay, the opportunity that's here in California. We will also make the most money. Profession-wise, especially in our profession of real estate, where we get paid a percentage based on the price of housing.
And we do have the highest priced homes in the nation.
We make a little bit more, but it could be relative, though, too, because we have to live here, too, right? So it's also costing us more to live here, right? And then, we have things like technology companies here. There's something for everybody here when it comes to that extent. But we did see a big exodus during the pandemic when people didn't have to be at their jobs, and a lot of people cashed out and left. You had a big influx into like Austin area, Boise was big, Vegas a little bit again, where you had like all these Californians I think we had negative growth in the state. Like there was a negative percentage of growth those years because people were like
fed up with it.
All right, time to cash out, right? But then that's something you got to think about too is once you leave, are you going to be able to come back?
That's my question. And look, I make this question to everyone that's looking to leave. It's like, okay, well, you're going to sell your house, which costs $650,000-$700,000. At least their house.
Somebody's home, and that's like a low end.
And that's on the low end.
Let's just say on average, it's $1 million house.
Yeah. So let's just take that $1 million home. You're going to sell that $1 million home to go buy maybe a $400,000 2-acre, 3-acre property, huge house, nicer home.
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
Right. Well,
cash.
Yeah, but where is this home located? Is it in the Midwest where the weather is?
You have all 4 seasons.
Yeah. You get tornadoes and stuff like that, and you don't make as much. There's less to do. Let's just keep it real. You don't have the mountains like we do in the beaches and stuff like that. So all those things, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for at the end of the day. Doesn't matter where you live. You're going to end up.
I think it comes down to what lifestyle you're looking
to do.
I think that's what it's going to come down to. I tell you right now, like at the age of 43 right now, I'm into like a little bit slower lifestyle. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to be where I was at. Like I had no complaints. Yes, I was renting and things were a little bit cheaper then. And some of the stuff wasn't as extreme as it has gotten over the last 15 to 20 years. But I was happy. But you also got to look at it too, like to your point, you get what you pay for. And then what if you change your mind?
Yeah. So
which has happened.
Getting back to what we're talking about, you sell that $1 million home, you go buy a $400,000 home, and you're trying to get back. Well, if you sell your $400,000 home out there,
maybe it's worth $500 after 5 years.
How much more is it going to cost you to get back in?
Yeah.
When it's been, I don't know, when are you going to try to get back? Maybe 3, 4 years, 5 years after?
Let's just say, 3 years. 3 years go by. What if there's a big boom like during the pandemic where prices went up 20%?
No one has a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. But it's projected that home prices are going to go up 3 to 4% nationwide.
Yeah.
In the Bay Area, it tends to be higher than that.
Yeah.
We have way more demand out here. Less inventory.
Land. Mm-hmm.
And people make more money out here. So a lot of people make a lot of more money out here. So there's a whole bunch of investors out there that are going to go out and make the affordability tougher.
I mean,
let's just keep it real.
And we're not here, if you're listening in another state, we're not here like doing a pissing contest and saying, oh, your state doesn't make money. In relation to what it costs, it all kind of balances out. What we're saying is there's people that have like, it's crazy, especially come from the banking industry. There's people that they have wealth, like extreme wealth. There's a reason why it can cost $3 million for a 900 square foot home in Mountain View that has to be torn down, and there's going to be 30 offers on that home, and they're all cash.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. It's almost too competitive here. Like there's too much wealth that is thrown here, and that kind of causes that affordability issue. And it's something we talk about with our clients sometimes is, if there's a home that's high in demand, it's that reality that, look, you're doing very good for yourself. You guys got great careers. You put yourself in a great position. You have a lot of money to put down on this home, but there's someone out there that has more. And it's just the fact.
There's always someone that has more.
And it sucks sometimes when where like, you put all your chips on the table as a buyer,
And it's not enough sometimes.
And it's not enough. It can get.
It's happened to me. It's happened to you, Mark.
It's disgusting sometimes.
We
you kind of just gotta like
bite the bullet.
Yeah, and it's, you tried your best. On to the next. It wasn't meant to be type of thing. So yeah, man. I mean, there's positives and negatives. Now look, it's our decision. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think you made the good point, bro. I think it's about like, what are you looking for in life? What does your lifestyle want to be? Can you have a similar career with similar household income in another state? Right? That's a big factor. Yeah. I mean, I tell you right now that if I could make what I make now and be able to transition that seamlessly to another state, I would look into it. But I also would want to keep my house here. But then now I'm scared to keep it because do I make it a rental? And then do I get beat up by all these rules?
What if,
you know what I'm saying?
What if it turns into a sanctuary for renters like Oakland and San Francisco?
That's what I'm saying.
And then your house is thrashed and you're screwed.
Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot, man. There's a good time. We've talked about this for a minute, but
there's so many things that we talked about that we can go in depth. Like so many things.
Yeah, and we're open. We love the dialogue. So leave your comments. If you're seeing a little clip of this on Instagram, leave your comments. If you listen to the podcast, follow us on IG. Shoot us a DM. Like, if you want us to dive in a little bit more into certain topics, we would love to. But with that, Victor, I think that's is it worth to live in California? I don't know. You gotta answer that for yourself. But we went over some of the highlights. And some of the issues, So
I'm just gonna say this before we say peace. Is your vote is gonna matter a lot next election, and I know what I'm voting. So be it. It is what it is. This isn't taking political sides or anything. I have my opinion, and I know where my vote's going. So
Just look past what you see on social media. Really find the facts, and voting. That's a great thing. Voting does
even
matter.
Even the news.
Yeah, just educate yourself.
Yeah,
that's it. But with that, we look forward
to winning with you.